Hi, I'm Linz. Welcome to Becoming Everwell, a channel where we talk about the ongoing journey of becoming. In today's life learning episode for Midlife You, we're talking about when inner parts of us clash. I make sense of life by writing about real everyday stuff that makes us who we are. Some of these snapshots are fun, some are more serious. Maybe they'll open up something in you too. Let's grow. My local high school's theater troupe recently produced Arthur Miller's The Crucible. It's a long downer of a play. Nothing's more unfun than a misguided witch hunt, but its themes endure as relevant. Many years back, I taught The Crucible as a high school English teacher, so when my 8th grade daughter expressed interest in seeing it, I got tickets before she even had a chance for second thoughts. And I'll note that the performance of these teenagers brought me to my feet with tears streaming down my face. The protagonist, John Proctor, faces this monstrous dilemma: falsely confess to something that tarnishes his family's name forever after, but also saves his life, or maintain honesty and protect the integrity of his name, but also die for it. Famously, he chooses the fatal path of integrity, which culminates with him crying out his reasoning, quote, "It's my name. I cannot have another in my life," end quote. Despite the devastating consequences of maintaining his integrity, Proctor honored his belief that one's good name matters above all else. The stakes of excommunication were high for John Proctor in 17th century New England. Seems unrelatable and a tad dramatic from a modern vantage point. And yet, during the intermission of this very play in 2024, we became embroiled in a modern-day version of this tale. During intermission, as the theater's lights brightened and audience members stretched and stood up, a mom acquaintance in the row in front of us greeted me and introduced me to some women from her church who also sat nearby. Their church is located in the same town where I'd been an English teacher nearly 15 years prior, and I was aware that their tightly knit faith home is one where members commit to remarkable devotion, both in time and lifestyle. And all families are familiar with each other. The mom acquaintance and I had made this connection of proximity between her church and my former school in the past, as some of my former students had been members of her church. I'd been invited to teacher appreciation gatherings at the church, and I'd shared with her my positive memories of those celebrations. As the mom acquaintance introduced me to her friends, she shared with them that I'd once been a teacher in their community. The women loved this and easily warmed up to me. One woman inquired about the names of my former students. As I rattled off some names, they seemed delighted to recognize a few and even shared details of their whereabouts these days. But when I named one particular kid, I'll call her Jessie, their eyes widened. They confirmed her last name, and the conversation's tone shifted. I knew that this young woman's father had once been a leader at their church. I'd also heard that he'd tarnished their family name just after she graduated high school. I don't know the details, but words like fraud, Ponzi scheme, and disgrace trail his name. And words like addiction, affair, and disaster trail her mom's name. Jessie stands out in my memory as being intelligent, resourceful, curious, independent, love-filled, and funny. And I told these women how I remembered Jessie. And yet, the conversation revolved around her name, her tarnished name. Specifics were cited of the devastating wake her father left in their community. These women maintained composure, but their utter distaste for Jessie's father permeated the air. One woman asked if the mom acquaintance knew the family, and although she didn't, she said that she knows of them. The irony. We're at the intermission of The Crucible, and our conversation is proof that a tarnished name becomes a terrible legacy. Jessie, of course, is not her father, nor is she her mother, and yet the familial connection, it inadvertently shrouds her history and her reputation. My 14-year-old daughter, who sat beside me, quietly observed as both stories unfolded. And in the car ride home, she expressed her big takeaway that clearly the kind of integrity that John Proctor died for still matters. My favorite definition of integrity is Martha Beck's in her book, The Way of Integrity. Beck, a sociologist, life coach, and author, defines integrity as, quote, being one true thing, end quote. Being true in your nature, in your wholeness, essentially being in alignment in your body, mind, heart, and soul. Now, the extreme circumstances of Jesse's and Proctor's respective families shout at us to be mindful of integrity's value. But as I've been reflecting on integrity, my thoughts keep circling around its quieter side. In what ways does integrity whisper to us? Personally, I hear integrity's whispers when there's a subtle clash between a belief of mine and a behavior of mine. For instance, I believe it's my responsibility to do all I can to take care of our planet. And yet, my actions reveal that I generate excess waste by overusing disposable items like plastic baggies that end up in landfills or oceans. Somewhere inside, I give myself a break. I empathize for that parent who keeps a family functioning and I cut her slack. But still, as I take an honest step back, it's evident that in this way, I'm not living in integrity. Therefore, I'm not one true thing. My actions speak to who I am. My beliefs speak to who I'd like to be. And when my actions and beliefs clash, it means that I've got work to do. I've either got to tweak the belief, in this case, to I believe that it's my responsibility to care about the planet when it's convenient for me, or alternatively, I can tweak my behavior by making consistent choices through an environmentally conscious lens. Integrity's whispers can often be heard when we examine where we spend our money, how we devote our time, who we surround ourselves with, or how we proclaim to behave versus how we actually act. Some typical clashes of integrity might look like this: a belief in living a healthy lifestyle with the action of regularly consuming toxins, or a belief in kindness with the action of laughing at jokes that degrade other people, or a belief in mindful self-care with the action of mindlessly scrolling social media for hours at a time, or a belief in diverse, inclusive community with the action of investing resources into elite, exclusive community, or a belief in welcoming friends into one's home with the action of speaking unflatteringly about a friend when they're not in the room. Although most of these examples are not shocking, I'd imagine that most of us would shy away from claiming such clashes in our personhood. But if you're feeling brave, perhaps you will privately ask yourself the question, am I one true thing? Am I consistently the whole version of myself that I want to be? Do I have integrity? Spoiler alert, because we're all humans living real lives, the hard truth is that no one is entirely one true thing. Even John Proctor, with his supreme display of integrity, had previously been an unfaithful spouse in his marriage. And Jessie, with her tarnished family name, had also been an upstanding student. We all have many parts, and it's quite likely to have integrity in one part and not in another. So let's have some grace with each other, and especially with ourselves, in our quest for integrity. No one benefits from the witch hunt approach to self-improvement. But also, despite our awareness that we're all inherently flawed, let's not use that as a convenient excuse to avoid taking responsibility for our own integrity clashes. Personally, I'd prefer to actively strive to be one true thing than to passively accept that I'm not one true thing. Are you with me? If you're up for listening to integrity's whispers, I suggest that you first notice the ways in which you already live in integrity. Consider your beliefs that objectively serve to improve yourself or the outside world in positive ways. Put subjective beliefs like witchcraft is evil aside. The crucible and countless other circumstances have taught us the danger of subjective beliefs that aim to harm others. Focus instead on your objectively positive beliefs. Then honor the places where your beliefs and actions align, because those spots of integrity in your personhood are remarkable and you deserve to feel secure in owning them. Then Make the bold choice to perk up to the whispers that highlight where you fall short, the places where your beliefs and actions clash. And from that place, get granular about how you will tweak either your actions or your beliefs so that this one clashing part of yours can become one true thing. Start small and get as specific as possible. Focus on that single clashing part of yourself for as long as it takes until you sense an authentic shift in your way of being or believing, until the integrity clash eventually transforms into alignment. Then, once that clashing part aligns, begin again and perk up to the next integrity clash that whispers into your ear. And so it goes, the steady ride of self-improvement. And although arriving at the destination of being one true thing is the gold standard, perhaps the destination isn't the point. I wonder if the most realistic and healthiest path is the perfectly imperfect one, where tweak by tweak, we simply strive to get closer to integrity's wholeness. Let's grow. I'm Lindsay Hurdy, a writer and self-development educator, and you can learn all about what I do on my website, lindsayhurdy.com, or my Substack, lindsayhurdy.substack.com. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Until next time. Be sure to like and subscribe and click that bell to get alerts for new posts. I'd be ever grateful.